Welcome to the monkey house of justice. Right, let's be honest, the words riveting and courtroom proceedings aren't exactly synonymous, are they? It's usually a whole lot of tedious objections and people whispering about Exhibit A. But sometimes, just sometimes, the room where justice is meant to be served becomes a stage for the utterly absurd. We're talking moments so unbelievable, so wildly inappropriate, they make you wonder if you accidentally wandered onto the set of a particularly dark courtroom drama. And folks, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into 15 of those moments. All right, let's kick things off with a case that proves even the most stoic courtrooms aren't immune to a bit of vigilante justice, shall we? Michael Madison, a name that sends chills down your spine, was a certified monster. This man terrorized East Cleveland, leaving a trail of victims in his wake. But after a string of horrific crimes, Madison finally faced a jury of his peers. And spoiler alert, it didn't go well for him. The verdict? Death. Now you might think that's where the story ends. Justice served, case closed. But you'd be wrong. Because as Madison sat there, emotionless, one of his victims' fathers decided he had heard enough. Look, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure evading justice isn't a recognized get-out-of-jail-free card. But try telling that to Tanner Jacobson and Cody Howard, two individuals who clearly missed the memo on how court sentencing works. These Einsteins actually thought they could outrun the long arm of the law. Spoiler alert, they couldn't. What followed was a scene straight out of a Benny Hill sketch, only instead of slapstick comedy, it was the slightly less hilarious reality of two desperate men facing the consequences of their actions. You know that expression, throwing the book at someone? Well, Ricky Hand took it a bit more literally. After being handed a 40-year sentence, Hand decided to express his displeasure in a way that can only be described as unconventional. Let's just say it involved a bodily fluid that should never, under any circumstances, be weaponized. The courtroom, as you can imagine, descended into chaos. It was a powerful reminder that while justice may be blind, it certainly has a very keen sense of smell. Look, I'm not saying every defendant needs to deliver an Oscar-worthy performance of remorse, but a little bit of human decency goes a long way. Ellis Nelson Ortiz Neves clearly didn't get that memo. This is a man who, after being found guilty of a truly heinous crime, the murder of his girlfriend's son, decided to channel his inner stand-up comedian. Yes, you heard that right. Jokes. It was a display of such staggering callousness, such a profound lack of respect for the gravity of the situation, that even the courtroom veterans were left speechless. The courtroom, in a just world, should be a place where hatred is condemned, not celebrated. But in the case of Jeremy Christian, it became a stage for his twisted ideology. Christian, charged with a hate-fueled attack that tragically took the lives of two train passengers, used his trial as a platform to spew his vile beliefs. It was a chilling reminder that prejudice and intolerance are very much alive and well, even within the supposedly hallowed halls of justice. This is Daniel Villegas, or, as the justice system accidentally called him for 18 years, not Daniel Villegas. Imagine, if you will, the utter surrealism of being exonerated for a crime you didn't commit after nearly 2 decades behind bars. The relief, the anger, the sheer disbelief, it's almost too much for one person to process. And yet, there was Daniel, standing in that courtroom, a living testament to the very real human cost of wrongful convictions. There are certain lines you just don't cross in life. And then there's TJ Lane, a young man who seems to have confused those lines with hurdles in a particularly twisted race to the bottom. Lane, responsible for the horrific school shooting that claimed the lives of 3 innocent students, decided to use his sentencing hearing as a platform for, well, let's just call it a performance. Instead of remorse, he offered arrogance. Instead of apologies, he gave us the finger, literally. Ronnie O'Neal, a name that will forever be synonymous with a crime so horrific, so utterly senseless, it defies comprehension. This is a man who, in a fit of jealous rage, took the lives of not 1, but 2 innocent souls, his ex-lover and their own daughter. And yet, as he sat in that courtroom, facing the consequences of his actions, what did we see? Remorse? Regret? No. we saw a chilling lack of emotion, a detachment from reality that was as disturbing as it was baffling. Look, I get it. Courtrooms can be boring, but there are other, less energetic ways to pass the time than, say, spontaneously bursting into a twerk session. Unless, of course, you're Calvin Griffith, a man who clearly subscribes to the dance like nobody's watching Philosophy of Life, even when everyone, including the judge presiding over his bond hearing, is watching. It was a display of such jaw-dropping inappropriateness, such a blatant disregard for the seriousness of the situation, that it left everyone wondering if they'd been transported into some bizarre, alternate reality. Serenity Richardson, a name that should evoke images of childhood innocence, of carefree laughter and boundless potential. Instead, it serves as a stark reminder of the horrors that can unfold when evil takes root in the hearts of those entrusted with a child's care. Erica Butts and Shanita Cunningham, the individuals responsible for Serenity's brutal abuse and untimely death, faced a reckoning in that courtroom. And while no sentence can ever truly erase the pain of such a loss, the judge's words offered a glimmer of hope, a testament to the enduring power of justice. Look, family court is rarely a walk in the park. Emotions run high, tensions are taut, and everyone's a little bit on edge. But Melissa Hardwick took things to a whole new level. Imagine, if you will, the chaos that ensued when, in a fit of unbridled rage, she decided to take a swing at the judge. That's right, folks. She tried to punch the person literally holding her legal fate in their hands. They say respect is earned. Well, Bass Webb clearly missed that memo. This is a man who, during his murder trial, decided to share his thoughts on the proceedings in a rather unconventional way. Let's just say it involved a projectile, a bodily fluid, and a judge who, I can only assume, wished he'd invested in a good raincoat. It was a display of such breathtaking disrespect, such a blatant disregard for the rules of basic human decency, that it left everyone in the courtroom speechless. Courtroom security, it's there for a reason, and in the case of Sayel Angala, it was a matter of life and death. Angala, a man who clearly didn't understand the concept of taking it outside, decided to settle a score with a fellow gang member in the middle of his trial. Now, I'm not saying violence is ever the answer, but if you're going to engage in a brawl, maybe choose a weapon slightly more intimidating than a pen. Look, we've all used the dog ate my homework excuse at some point in our lives, but Leonid Graser took things to a whole new level of absurdity. His defense? Satan made him do it and escape. Yes, you heard that right. This man, in a display of theatrical flair that would make even the most seasoned stage actor blush, claimed he was possessed by the Prince of Darkness himself. Esteban Carpio, a man whose face could launch 1,000 before and after memes, became a living testament to the fact that even the most secure courtrooms aren't entirely escape-proof. One minute he was there, facing a litany of charges. The next he was gone, vanished into thin air, like a magician's assistant with a particularly strong aversion to justice. So there you have it, folks. 15 unbelievable courtroom moments that prove truth really is stranger than fiction. From shocking crimes to outrageous behaviors, these cases remind us that the pursuit of justice is rarely a straightforward affair. Until next time, this is Crime Stories Now, reminding you to always behave yourself in court. Or at the very least, try to be a little more creative than twerking your way into a longer sentence.